Sorry for the late start, and I have what I consider to be a very good excuse, but it's probably one that's not going to be good for anyone else. I have been watching Brace Yourself Games um, do a wonderful stream of Godless, and it wasn't even so much that I wanted to see what was in the new update because we will explore that together. But it has been a while. It's just nice to catch up with all the Brace Yourself people. So in this particular case, I did want to take a little extra time and catch up. For those of you that are not familiar with them, Brace Yourself Games is the game developer, but also now publisher. And so for development, they have done, Crypt of the Necrodancer, Phantom Brigade, Industries of Titan, Cadence of Hyrule. They are about to release Rift of the Necrodancer. And of course, all of the unknown projects that we know they're working on. But no, not today, Mecha Paladin. I'm sorry. I know you really like that. I know you really like that one. But in this case, there was a new update for Godless, which I've not played in a while. So I kind of tried to give people a heads up that I'd be doing Godless this time around, but yeah, it's gonna be a little bit different. I will be back to Phantom Brigade reasonably quickly. I don't want to commit to it being next week because I have sort of underplayed this game relative to how much I enjoy it. But I'm also aware of the fact that people really do like Phantom Brigade, and we're making progress on the campaign. So I. The best thing to do if Godless doesn't work for you, I'll definitely say on Twitter when when I can or when I'm back into it. It's on your wish list. I've been off the grid for a while, so I missed it. Gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, sorry for that disappointment there. But I like Godless is good too. Please don't take it. Please don't take that as a condemnation or implicit condemnation of Godless. Oh, sorry, there's something that just happened on the computer beside me. I'm gonna deal with really quick. But yeah, that is actually not a bad introduction to the game I am playing. So I did just shout out the Brace Yourself Games Twitch channel. Brace Yourself Games has an absolutely wonderful communications and community management team, and they have. Sorry, I just need to hit all the different buttons. Um, they do these wonderful streams on their own. In fact, they also sort of support their games, on with broadcasts on Steam, for instance, and interviews with the developers and so on and so forth. And it's one of the things that I actually really enjoy about following them as a publisher. Publisher and developer. But one of the most exciting things that's happened, and Brace Yourself can probably explain why they went into this, but I think this is a kind of a natural progression for a lot of independent developers, which is there's a lot of independent developers that do their own publishing, like for their own games, I mean. And as they progress, as they do their work, their team grows. They develop some skill and they develop, some talent in terms of being able to do things like outreach, like basically the whole business of getting a game to market. I've been trying really hard to put together this article that is as concise as I can make it. This is maybe not the time to go into it too far, but I because I'm doing it here, I think this is interesting to explain where Godless sort of fits in the world of Crypt of the Necrodancer and things like that. This article is trying to describe the discoverability problem in games as a productivity problem. And the thing is that I have learned that there are certain people who are allowed to have unconventional opinions on things. Like if you're a name, you can generally get away with saying something a little bit more unconventional. And if you are not one of those people, people can actually get quite mean. And I mean, to a certain extent, it's like, okay, whatever. It takes a lot to make me cry. But like, I don't know. It's like one of these things where you sign yourself up for a lot more headaches than is necessary. And it sometimes will mean that the point you're trying to make is lost when people are trying to score points for dunking on you or not really engaging with the idea. So this is not so much an effort to try and say like a poor me sort of a thing as it is, I really want to try and be informative in the article, and that means trying to present it a different take on a hot button issue in game development in a way that will get people thinking about it rather than just sort of yelling at the article. And one of the things that I think is happening is that like the reason why I talk about it as productivity, which you would normally associate with a business, is that people may be putting a lot of effort into marketing. Like they're taking a lot of hours, but in the end, that time is not necessarily as well spent as it could be otherwise. Even just simply spending some money and hiring someone who is more, has some more experience in that sort of thing can be an example of a productivity improvement just measured by outcome. And the reason why I highlight the idea of productivity so much is that one way or another, this comes across in terms of the price of the game. In order to make a, financially viable game, you have to price it at a certain level, and it needs to recover your cost. But the thing is that what people are willing to pay for that game is a reflection of the quality of the underlying game, on top of, their overall level of excitement and interest in it, right? It's very hard to see marketing as something independent from the game on its own. And one of the problems with lower productivity is ultimately it means that the time that is spent on making the game and getting it in people's hands, and again, I don't see these as distinct activities. Marketing is as much a part of making a game as the music or the programming or anything like that. Essentially what happens, if you've got, let's say, Into the Breach at about $17, if you want to release a game that's $17, it's being compared with something like Into the Breach, which is an exceptionally good game. And so implicitly, you've got sort of this quality adjustment that's happening in terms of people's purchases. And essentially, the argument here of this article is going to be that what's essentially happening is that there are enough games out there now that where customers might have been willing to subsidize what, for lack of a better term, I'll call waste, sort of low productivity. The tastes have changed, and there's enough good alternatives out there that essentially games do actually need to be made within a certain period of time and to a certain standard in order for them to be financially viable. And so, again, the idea here is that if you have a weakness in your skill set, and let's face it, there's a lot that we ask of independent developers in terms of being able to go from an idea to a marketable game and to put it in our hands. So I'm not at all trying to suggest that this is easy or that the people who are not finding success are bad people. But in the end, just because of the nature of the business, one of the great difficulties is that there's much less room for error than they might have been. And that's essentially why, I'm sort of calling the discoverability problem a productivity problem. The higher productivity, the lower cost, either in sort of this quality adjusted sense or in this nominal sense, you can sell the game at. People are more willing to buy. Or more importantly, if your costs are lower, you need to recover less in order for the thing to become financially viable, which means you're going to be able to keep doing this in the future. So why am I going on about this? Up to this point, Brace Yourself Games has published its own titles, with the exception, I guess, of Cadence of Hyrule. I would assume that was probably Nintendo published. But you'll also notice that they've sort of released a lot of their big titles now. So Industries of Titan has gotten its 1.0 release. Phantom Brigade's gotten its 1.0 release. Certainly Rift of the Necrodancer is on its way out, and there are going to be other games that they make. And again, there's also other things that have been going on. So there's, DLC for Crypt of the Necrodancer and that. But I think it would be fair to say that there's a lot of talent at Brace Yourself Games, which is capable of doing a lot more. And obviously they are able to sustain, effort for certain game, a certain level of game, or like a number of releases. And you might sort of look at that and sort of say, okay, we've got kind of a bit of a sag. And when you take a look at sort of the old, or how people describe the old games industry, it would used to be sort of like, okay, game's done, everybody's fired, and, we'll hire some of you back when it comes time for the next one. And one of the things that DLC allowed, one of the things that sort of allowed DLC, or one of the things that DLC enabled was this smoothing out of the production process, so that, if you have people who are developing, assets or something like that, they're able to get to work on DLC while, other components are being worked at. And this, I think, is, well, actually, maybe not even indirectly, I think directly responsible for a higher quality of game, because number one, job stability will attract, more talent into the industry. You have people who are working together and have a production process that works very well. And so in this case here, there's the productivity improvement of being able to sort of have an idea of what your coworkers are and aren't capable of. Overall, I just think this is a good thing. I think games are better as a result of it. And I know people like to complain about things like DLC a lot, but it's actually, in my view, something that enables a lot of very good things in terms of the games industry. But if you think of this, like, this is a problem that's not going to be unique to a publisher. This isn't something that just Electronic Arts or Ubisoft need to deal with. This would also be true for especially a game developer like Brace Yourself Games, which, and you could also say this about Kitfox, where they will have certain releases and then they have certain things that they're working on, and they're maybe not ready to kind of have, there's a big marketing sort of plan that people will have. And there's this idea of, when do you first announce a game? When do you first, when do you, when do you do sort of a full gameplay trailer or anything like that? It's something I actually don't understand very well, but if you look, there's very clearly a pattern. And I think it's fair to say that there are a number of indies now which have quite a bit of experience releasing their own games. They've got a very talented group of people who are able to apply those skills elsewhere. And it does seem to me that there's a natural step for these people to go into publishing. And that's exactly what Brace Yourself has done. So essentially what's going on here is that in addition to the Brace Yourself game side, which will be making games like Crypt of the Necrodancer, Rift of the Necrodancer, Phantom Brigade, and Industries of Titan. It's not that I keep forgetting Industries of Titan. There's enough games that Brace Yourself has made now. I need to take a break in between saying them for a breath. But they're able to support, and more importantly, be able to probably, I'd say, fill in the gaps in terms of some skill sets for games that maybe you and I wouldn't have heard under other circumstances. And in this case here, there are people who have, a good understanding of their audience, a good understanding of how to get a game out. They're able to connect with developers. And I mean, it's also fairly clear that Brace Yourself has a real talent for finding, game ideas that work, right? The Clark Tank has this whole series on, what makes a good hook and so on and so forth. And the big reason I wanted to take the time to talk about this is that when I took a look at Godless, the only thing I could really find about it before was a Kickstarter that basically didn't reach its funding. And what I love about this is that this is a pretty interesting game to play. You will see when I play it. But this shift into publishing has allowed basically a game that I'm sure the people behind it would have put a lot of effort in and have done their best to realize it. But in the end, being able to connect with a developer and now a publisher like Brace Yourself, ultimately that's going to enable people like myself who would maybe not otherwise have heard of a game like this, which is very, it's obviously one that I like. That's ultimately allowing the connection of sort of the two worlds. The Godless team can do their work on the game, but they can connect with a team that will help them sort of push it up to the level and the potential that the game has on its own. So I'll be honest with you, I'm actually really excited by the prospect of Brace Yourself Publishing. I'm sure, obviously I have a lot of, hello Aegis Sounder, how you doing? I'm sure I probably made a lot of mistakes in terms of the reasoning behind why Brace Yourself is doing publishing now. A lot of this is just speculation on my part, but again, it's I think it's very exciting to see a team that has got some wonderful talent behind it, to be able to extend that to other projects, alongside, of course, the great work that they're doing on their own, and to be able to see, basically just to be able to see a new set of games, a new set of interesting projects as a result. The other ones that I'll briefly mention that they're doing publishing for are Cobalt Core and Super Raft Boat Together, but Godless was the one that they first announced. And with that in mind, having said all these nice things about Brace Yourself Games and Godless, because I'm about to step into the game, I did just want to take a quick second and say that Brace Yourself did give me a copy of the game for promotional purposes. So I wouldn't be playing it if I didn't enjoy it. And certainly my my time away from it wasn't a reflection of a lack of interest. It's more of a statement of the quality of all of the other stuff that's been coming out from Brace Yourself. But in this particular case here, that is the Steam page. It's currently in early access. It's available for $12.99 Canadian. I believe they will be increasing the price on full release. So it's sort of the idea, if you're buying the game early, you get a bit of a discount because of the, I guess for lack of a better term, the risk that you're taking on. But alternatively, if you, if you're, how do I put it? If you wait for 1.0, you're paying up for the, I don't know. I don't like the idea of saying that like playing a game is risky. It's, any entertainment product you get may or may not be for you. And I think, but on the other hand, obviously playing a game that you're helping test, I can see why they would discount it. But in any case, I am, I'm quite fond of Godless, but I was given a copy for promotional purposes, so it's always good to mark these things. Now, it's been about 15 minutes of preamble, so let's jump in and see what's new with Godless, because it has been a while. I also expect that I'm going to suck, so just a heads up. By the way, I did suggest there's a alternative name that it's currently Brace Yourself Publishing. But what I like is because the abbreviation for Brace Yourself Games is BYG. Hello, Olaf. Good to see you. They could have called it BYOG, Bring Your Own Game. But anyways, Roadmap, thank you for playing Godless in early access. The game is still in development, and we are planning to add a lot of content and cool features on a regular basis. Let us know on the Steam forums if you'd like to see something in particular added to the game. So in February, there were skills and quality of life improvements. Now it says it's the April update. We are, of course, in May. From what I understand, there is a little uncertainty in terms of the timetable and the roadmap. I personally do not think that this is a bad thing. I think there's probably some stress for developers that that result from that. And as I was saying, the more time you spend on a game, basically that means that it costs more to make it, which means the expectations are higher in terms of the financial performance to make it a viable project. But in the end, that's project management. That's not necessarily something that we as players need to worry about. But what I am grateful for is that they have the flexibility and sort of the certainty in terms of what the project needs in order to be able to make the best decisions that they can. So with that in mind, Act 3 has unlocked. Now, of course, that doesn't really mean a whole lot because I will probably not be making it to Act 3. We'll do our best, though. But there is natural disasters, combat log skills, and consequences. In the next update, there will be auxiliary skills, more skills, talents, scrolls, then coming soon, Act 4, Tier 3 talents, and then from what I understand, there is actually quite a bit in sort of, I think probably what they're trying to do is figure out what is, if I think if Industries of Titan is any indication, any game can have like a million really brilliant ideas. But the question is, what are the brilliant ideas that are ones that you can implement within a reasonable time frame that have the maximum impact? And so I have a feeling that there's quite a bit more in that and more section, but there's a good reason why we don't see any announcements on that, because I do think people tend to have this, I think people have this tendency to overemphasize what a game could have been or what they thought the game should have been, as opposed to what the game actually is. And I think that can sometimes stop people from really enjoying a game that they otherwise would like. So, anyways, I'm wondering if... Okay, so it looks like my progress has reset here. Nope, my apologies. We have Giant Slayer, plus 10 to Shrine's health after defeating a boss, and increases the number of available skill slots. And we've completely done Enhanced Stone. Yep, okay. It's a lot of health for the Shrine. Unlock ultimate rituals with especially strong effects. And as you can see, there's more stuff for early access. All right, let us play. Now, there is a new shrine. The Magma Shrine can move and attack, starts each battle with 9 attacks. So, we've got the standard immobile shrine. You will start the match with this amount of health. We've got the Magma Shrine can move and attack, starts each battle with 9 attack. I suppose the... So one thing you might look at here would be to say, it's like, okay, so you've got a standard shrine which doesn't move, and then you've got a shrine that moves and has an attack. Why on earth would you ever choose anything but the Magma Shrine? And I'm assuming here, the reason one might be reluctant to like buff or to select the Magma Shrine would be, this is a shrine that's going out of its way to get into danger, which is maybe not consistent with how I have played the game traditionally. So I suppose the question is, do I want the sort of the changes to be to the other new stuff that they've added, or do I also want to add the possibility of a walking, punching shrine? It's hard not to say. Like Magma Shrine seems very fun. Okay, all of this is locked. Oh, I get to pick. Okay, cool. I think I'm gonna start on normal. Oh, that's neat. You get to... Well, let's do everything on normal. I'm sure I will regret this choice and run screaming back to the other levels, but let's do what we can here. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with this game, this is described as a roguelike auto-battler. Now, one of the tricky parts here is that I'm not that familiar with auto-battlers, and so this is one of the reasons why I'm so fascinated by Godless, because where I haven't really been able to get that far into a teamfight tactics or even Dota Underlords, the thing to remember is I used to play a lot of Dota, so you'd think that Dota Underlords would be something that I'd be really into, but I gotta confess, I've not quite been able to... I've not really been able to make my peace with the genre, I guess. In fairness, I also don't play a lot of Dota anymore. Maybe I should get back into it, but I kind of think I think the size of the game is insulting at this point. But anyways, roguelike auto battler is probably the best way to articulate it. There's also a bit of a deck building element, which I'm going to be doing now. So we've got the Orc Warlord on attack, adds this unit's attack to all adjacent allies. We have Pyromancer, which has a lot of health but a low attack, deals 2 damage to a random enemy for each adjacent plane hex. And Protector of Nature, passive, attack is always equal to health. So very strong, but obviously the more it fights, the weaker it gets. So there is something kind of tempting about the Pyromancer, but I feel like the Orc Warlord allows for the most nonsense in terms of being able to combine elements. So we'll start with the Orc Warlord. Here we have Battle Right, add +2 attack to an ally, +2 more for each adjacent plane hex. So this strikes me as the sort of thing I'd want to put on the Orc Warlord. We've got a Sand Golem. On move, destroys a tile on this hex to gain 2 + 5. That would be really good against the Talvis fight. And then we've got Elementalist. Each turn adds +1 health to all adjacent allies and deals 5 damage to all adjacent enemies. This seems very, very powerful. So I guess the question here would be, do I want the thing that will work as a nice complement to the Orc Warlord, or do I want the extra unit? And honestly, it's very hard. It's very hard for me to choose one way or the other. I think I'm going to go for the Elementalist here. So Arena swaps the attack and health of the entering allies. Invigorating Flame, destroy the tile and add +2 to the health of any unit on it. And adds +1 health to all adjacent allies. Okay, that's a little bit of a shame. Because I've got a lot of health, but I don't have a lot of attack. We'll go for Clerics. I've got a few too many units, but we'll work with what we've got here. Alright, let's do the battle. So we're on the Elvish Refuge. After surviving a brutal war against the gods, the elves landed in these faraway lands. So we've got 2 enslaved ogres. These have a lot of health and attack. And then we're gonna have an Archdruid, deals damage to all enemies on forests. So in the third wave, I gotta be a little bit worried. But we'll worry about that later. Okay, so first thing that I need to do is to pick where I want to put the shrine. Now the thing to remember here is that my shrine is going to be moving each turn. And as a consequence, I'm going to have to make some choices in terms like what's the most beneficial to me in terms of the various movements. So for instance, a swamp is going to deal 3 damage to a unit on this tile. If I put my shrine here, it's going to get 2 health. Then it's going to wind up walking into an empty tile, and then either one of these is going to be, deal 3 damage to me. So it might make more sense for me to start with my unit here. Of course, that means that I'm going to wind up closer to the ogre. I still think this is the right call, though. We've got an Ancient Rune, adds +1 to the attack on units entering and the shrine. Okay, so we'll start here. Now, we've got 3 mana to deal with. Oh, also they added, I saw this with Demi's stream, so click to continue. The faster you win battles, the more rewards you get. So if it's less than 11 turns, we get, I can't remember what this is called, I think Ether. If it's less than 13, we get 12 health for the shrine. And if it's less than 15 turns, we get, I don't remember what this is, but it will say. Sorry, I just got a message from someone that I need to respond to. I got a musical instrument and I shared it with a friend of mine, so. Okay. So we start with a certain amount of mana. By the way, it was this is Ether, so the purple is Experience. So we got 3 mana to work with. I can put down an Elementalist, I can put down an Orc Warlord, and I can put down a Cleric. I think probably the answer here is Orc Warlord here, Cleric here. And I think there was a button. Oh, come on! Why would you do this? So not only does he not get the bonus for the attack, we're down 3 health at the very start. All right, well, now you know why I don't like auto battlers. I'm not 100% sure what's happening here, though. Ah, right. Okay, so the shrine gets... Okay, I see how this works now. I don't mind building up some clerics for the extra health. So we only got one more turn of the orc being able to do its thing. I think in this case we're going to avoid trying to heal people. There's no way for me to save the... There's no way for me to save the orc warlord, so we got to save for a new one. But as you can see, it's pretty crushing for the ogre when the time comes. So, we're going to add Orc Warlord here. I'm doing this so that he can move onto the tile. Okay, so now we want to try and get some healing on the shrine. These guys are going to be stuck in place, which is good. Yeah, well, especially because I was talking quite a bit, Lone Jail, so I hope you're doing well. Okay, so the Curse Spirit, on death, all adjacent enemies lose 1 attack, and Loyal Village adds +3 health to allies summoned on this tile. I think I'm definitely going to do the Loyal Village, and I'm going to put it here so that people will move into the... Thank you. I'm sure there'll be more chatting. So remember, we started with 60 health. We have a pretty big deficit to clear up here. But we're going to do that by summoning a lot of clerics. Rituals. A wave of enemies has been defeated. Select a powerful ritual as a reward. So, Vicious Hunger, ally of your choice, devours all adjacent allies and gains their stats. Forest Fire. Set a forest on fire. The fire will continue to spread. And a Tangible Mirage. Copy any traversable tile on all adjacent hexes. I'm not quite sure what this resource is here. So this might damage me. But what I want to do here is copy the ancient rune. Yeah, so I feel like it could have been telegraphed a little bit better in terms of the fact that there was a cost associated with that, but I'm really sorry to hear that, Mecha Paladin. It's absolutely, yeah. I know you said that you kind of needed to focus on some stuff before. So if you're, obviously that's really personal, and I don't want to pry too much. But yeah, I totally get it. So the big thing here is that it's always weird to talk about like the thing that you do, or like why people watch you, right? All of you know why you watch me. But the thing is that I like engaging with people, but I never consider it to be a requirement, and it's basically for that kind of a reason. I don't necessarily know what's happened to someone the moments before they come and watch a stream. And so, as much as I can, it's nice to be able to create a situation, like basically do something where if you want to share something you can, if you want to participate you can, but it's completely viable to just sit down, take a load off, get whatever you can out of just hearing some Canadian guy ramble over a game. So yeah, no, it's I totally get it, Mecha Paladin, and if you need to chat about it, like, by all means, I'm certainly not going to force it. But the big thing I need to stress for anyone really, I like being able to chat with people. I like being able to have some back and forth, but I do kind of get that a large part of what I do is just have some background noise on, and I'm completely fine being that for people. So, but I am sorry to hear what you're going through, obviously. Okay, an enemy has been defeated, but life still glimmers in their body. Now you are to decide their fate. I can reassemble the body to summon a random ally on a random hex, or I can kill in duel, add +1 attack to an ally. They attack an enemy immediately if possible. So it seemed to me that the best option here is to make the Orc Warlord more powerful. The other question is, do I want to bring up a cleric, or do I want to bring in an elementalist? I think in this case here, it's slightly better for me to try and surround the shrine with things that will heal it, because we've lost a lot of health from the start. Alright, so our shrine's almost certainly going to go into the swamp. So this is almost a sacrificial cleric in this case. So similar idea here. Just trying to give a little bit of a reprieve to my shrine. Oh yeah, no, Lone Jail. I mean, the only thing for me is that because I tend to digress, if people are expecting a lot of gameplay, that can sometimes create a problem in the sense that the digressions wind up keeping us from, from gameplay. But as much as I can, I want to. As much as I can, I want to try and find that balance. Okay, so fates. An enemy has been defeated, but their life still glimmers in their body. Now you are to decide their fate. We could soothe before death and add 6 health, randomly split among all allies, which is not really going to get me that much. Or we can execute them, deal 5 damage to any unit. If they die, you get +1 mana. Now, that wouldn't be terrible to do to one of my clerics, but in this case I'm going to do soothe before death, even though in the end it's not that much health. It's, oh, that's actually a little different from what I was expecting. I'm curious where... Yeah, I was hoping you'd go into the forest. We gotta get out of the trees when the druid comes in, though. I think, honestly, more health is the aim here. So good news is we hit one shot anything we come after. The bad news is we are just slightly above half of our health last time. Okay. Give you one of these. Energy exchange. Swap the places of 2 units. Vicious Hunger, ally of your choice, devours adjacent allies and gains their stats. Or Perfect Balance, set the attack and health of any unit to the highest of the 2. So this is a sneaky way for me to turn all of this damage on my shrine into health. An enemy has been defeated, but their life still glimmers in their body. Now you are to decide their fate. Transfer soul, summon a 2/2 copy of an ally on an adjacent hex, or grant morale boost to an ally. I don't think this is going to do much. Trying to, I don't know, love bomb the shrine so we can get some of that health back. An enemy has been defeated, but life still glimmers in their body. You can now decide their fate. We can bury, destroy a tile, and the next fate is chosen twice, or copy a traversable tile on an adjacent hex. Oh. I didn't mean to do it that way. I meant to turn that into a forest. Oh well. gonna try this because it occurred to me that it's on move. So if these people don't move, then I don't get the health. Won't matter because we just blew up the place. So yeah, the big problem here is I took way too much damage doing that. So choose a reward. We can get a Protector of Nature or a Bloodlord. Gains +2/1 whenever an adjacent unit dies. Well, it's certainly consistent with how I've been running this. So if we have to go up against Talvis like this, we are going to be in trouble. Natural disasters significantly change continent's landscape. Consider it while setting up your strategy. So Flood will destroy a number of hexes completely. That's just telling us what's coming up. So we can go to Sanctuary, acquire a passive perk for the Shrine. We can go to the Chamber, acquire talents using elemental energies. We don't have that much in terms of elemental energies or Sanctuary. Let's go to Sanctuary. So, Ether Energy adds 15% of the Shrine's health to Ether on battle end. Master's Presence adds +1/+1 to allies summoned next to the Shrine. And Warm Flames on attack, the Shrine adds 12% of its attack to the health. Yeah, this is going to give us quite a bit of momentum. Okay, so the thing is, I don't have another one of these. A Spark of Nature or Spark of Death. We're gonna be a big old goth today. Blood Ruby. On attack, steals 1 attack from the target. I can take that. Alright, so, Antarda Kingdom. Despite its harsh ruler and reputation for ruthless court intrigue, Antarda is known far and wide as a place of prosperity. Now, there's a few worries that we have against the units that we're coming up against. So there's Battle Sorceress, able to teleport to the Shrine. Now, this isn't as bad because the Magma Shrines were walking around looking for a fight anyway. So it's not quite the same as when I was trying to put my, my stationary shrine far away. The Archdruid definitely gives me pause in terms of whether or not I want to stay in a forest or not, because deals damage to all enemies in forests. The Rune Master I don't think I've encountered before, so summons phantoms on ancient runes and places of power, and then the final wave is going to be 2 Archdruids. Oh. Okay, so I think I'm going to put the shrine here. So I'm potentially creating some risks for myself in the sense that if I walk into the woods, I'm going to take 3 damage just like if I go into a swamp. But looks like I'm going to be going into these ancient ruins. So in this case, I'm going to start with the Orc Warlord. Oh, but that's an attack, so that actually doesn't do as much for me. So in this case here, I'm actually going to add the Cleric. They'll sort of move in parallel. Yeah, I'm going to end the turn on that, actually. So that wasn't a surprise, but this is all about getting the health. It would take 3 and heal 2. Are you talking about... So this guy's going to take damage going in, but it's about healing my shrine rather than... it's about healing the So I think I know what you're talking. Are you talking about the rune summoner? Because that doesn't come till the second turn. Like basically walking into the forest is going to result in these people taking damage. That's fine because like what I'm doing right now is holding back so that I can get some health while I work through this. So put one of them here. And I think I can actually put one of them here. Yeah, they're going to move. So again, all of this is about moving in a way that's going to give maximally heal. Yeah, I still don't want, like I believe you have to start in the forest to get the health. So if you die before you can get the healing, it doesn't help. But like in this case here, the main focus is this shrine. So what I'm doing is something that will let him maximize the damage that he can do. I'm at some point going to have to traverse the forest, but hopefully we do so when we're, nice and powerful and buffed. Like in this case, I should have probably 2 people heal him, possibly 3. Because I think the shrine should move, this guy heals him, and then these 2 heal him. So like in this case, we'll actually be up to 6. Now we don't have much in terms of people who are going to be helping out like in the end, we're still going to have to face down these units, but hopefully I have a beastly shrine that I can get through it. Okay, so similar story here. It actually looks like the shrine isn't moving. So with that in mind, I'm going to add the cleric here. So this unit dies, but it's lost its ability to heal my my shrine anyway, so it's not a big deal. Obviously, we're giving up on the turn, like the benefits from the turn, but clearly we're doing all right in terms of buffing the shrine. Oh, nope, I didn't plan that out properly, actually. All right, adjust the battle speed to make everything move slower or faster. I actually kind of like seeing the animation, so I'm going to keep that. Okay, so I'm staying put here. Now, the sorceress will teleport to the shrine after the successful attack, but I don't see the place where they would actually land. So I'm just going to move the cleric one more time. Oh, why am I down to 2? Maybe I've always been down to 2 and I'm just not paying attention. Oh, that's not what I had planned. So now we know that the sorceress is going to show up into the woods here. Okay, what I want to do at some point is, so if I put the orc warlord, like if I put the orc warlord nearby, they're not going to last very long to keep adding the damage to my shrine. So I am going to add another cleric. I do want to get the orc warlord at some point, but we're going to have to clear out the battle sorceress first. And the drawback is not a lot of people are going to wind up moving. Which means I don't have as many opportunities for healing. Okay, so because we don't have anybody who's going to be moving in a way that I need them to, I'm actually going to hold back so that we can maximize our mana. An enemy has been defeated, but life still glimmers in their body. Now you are to decide their fate. So exile, add +3/+7 to an enemy. All enemy units on the next continent will have +1/+1. Or pay tribute, add +1 attack to a unit. If it exceeds its health, you will get +8 ether. Okay, well, I don't think... Oh, no, here we go. Alright, it doesn't exceed, though. I should have paid attention. Okay, gonna put the cleric here. See, the problem here is I'm gonna keep winding up stuck with I'm gonna keep winding up stuck in the woods, and they're just gonna keep bombing me. I don't know. I'll stick with Okay, so now's the time for the Orc Warlord. And then if I put the cleric here, hopefully they move to the... No, well, I mean, it still has the same effect, but... Okay, same story. Put a cleric until I can get another Orc Warlord in place to start beating up the druid. I'm gonna put a cleric down and hope they heal my guy, which in this case they don't. Okay, rituals. A wave of enemies has been defeated. Select a powerful ritual as a reward. I could do perfect balance and get a truly appalling amount of damage, which would actually be really good for healing given my ability. Astral protection. Summon an illusion next to any ally and destroy a hex. You know what? I'm actually going to try this. This is a risky one. But it's worth remembering, I heal a certain portion of my attack, so the higher my attack is, the more I regenerate. So let's do Bury. Wait, what? Okay. This is an okay move. Yeah, so that's the That's the one thing we're worried about from this guy. An enemy has been defeated, but life still glimmers in their body. Now you have to decide their fate. So I will spare, and I get to put down 2 of these villages now. I'm going to put one here and one here. Elementalist is on move, I believe. So, oh no, sorry, it's each turn adds 1 health, so that would actually be better for me to put it beside my units in the current state. I'm actually going to try and do another Orc Warlord. Okay, wave of enemies have been defeated. Select a powerful ritual as a reward. Forest fires sounds fun. Surround the shrine with rock walls or copy any traversable tile on all. Okay, I got to do forest fires in this case because I do not want to surround the shrine with rock walls. I'm assuming a forest fire is going to damage the unit that it's in, so we'll start it here. And an enemy has been defeated, but life still glimmers in their body. Now you are to decide their fate. So let's do pay tribute on the shrine. Oh, nope. Darn it. I thought the shrine was actually had less health than attack. Well, still makes sense to give it here. Okay, so the first question is where everybody moves. So for some reason, I'm staying put. So with that in mind, I'm going to put down the Orc Warlord here. And I'm going to leave the rest. So the reason I did the Orc Warlord is so that I can give the attack to the shrine again. Although at this point maybe the health would have been better, I'm not sure. So obviously that's really inconvenient for my shrine, given the fact that it's stuck in the woods now. I think my best bet is to put the cleric down here. So by the end of this, we may be... an enemy has been defeated, but life still glimmers in their body. Now you're to decide their fate. Deal 5 damage to enemy unit. If they die, you'll get 1 mana. And add 1 attack to an ally. They attack an enemy immediately if possible. So this makes sure that we end the battle with more health than we started. Or we should, yeah, we're at 66 health. Okay, choose a reward. So we can do Battle Right, plus 2 attack to an ally, plus 2 more for each adjacent plane hex, which was the one that we turned down before. And Frenzy, any unit attacks all adjacent units. Wow. Let's do Battle Right, because that's going to work quite well with the Orc Warlord. All right, Talvis, our old friend. So we can go to the chamber, acquire talents using magical energies, sanctuary for another passive perk. I think this time we'll go to the chamber. So we can start right away with a nature talent. Sacred Monument, additional 2 ether whenever the shrine gains extra health. Or Emerald Defender, adds +3 health and grants intimidation to a chosen ally on turn 3. I think we'll do Sacred Monument. The next question is, am I willing to pay up for either... sorry, I can never remember these. This is fire or death. So it would cost us 90 for death. Cost us 60 for... So we can't have both, basically. We'll try fire. So here we have Flame of Vengeance. Upon an ally's death, adds +1 to the attack of all the other allies, and Panic whenever allies attack 4 times in total. Enemies will lose -1 attack. That's actually really strong against Talvis because of his ability, but in this case we're going to do Flame of Vengeance. So I think that is... Oh, I keep forgetting that this is like a total. So I can actually keep... I can keep investing, but I still won't have enough for the 50. Okay, Shrine, Divine Protection. The Shrine gains Defense 1. This unit receives 1 less damage from attacks for each defense stack. Rune of Power adds 3 attack to the Shrine whenever an enemy enters an adjacent hex. Magma Heart adds +2/+2 to the Shrine whenever it enters a plain text. Again, trying to get all that stacking benefit. Okay, and we'll have an eruption, create some volcanoes on the continent. Broken Island, the first and only negotiations between gods and mortals took place here. Common wisdom holds that the land was whole before that. So Talvis has changed since the last time we saw him. He now has on death deals 9 damage to all adjacent enemies and resurrects with stats 749. It works once. So the one thing I'm not crazy about is there's like no plain texts. So this is useless to me. The question is, would I be willing to spend to regenerate the continent? And honestly, it's not that bad. So there's the War Graveyard, which will give him a little bit of a bonus. But other than that, I really don't see that big of a problem. So we'll say no to recreating it. I'm going to start in the forest. Hopefully he sensibly moves, yeah, in here. Now this one is going to be a bit delicate. Because what I'm going to want to do here is... Actually, it might have even been more sensible for me to start with a shrine further back, because then Talvis would have had to traverse this whole area and we still would have wound up in the middle. So that was poorly considered on my part. But essentially what I want to be doing here is... well, okay. I actually need to boost the... I need to be boosting the attack. So how do I do that? That, or I need to be healing my way through the troubles, which means... So, like, here's the real consideration, right? We got Talvis here. On attack, launches 5 damage to the shrine. Oh, hang on. Okay. So, basically, if I have a bunch of people running after him like lemmings, that's the problem. But if we're all moving as one unit, this isn't so bad then, so... So we're going to have to give a little bit of that up when Talvis kills these people, but... Damn it! So we're going to take damage from that volcano, but... Again, what we're trying to do here is, even by having units move into these different areas, we're getting some... we're kind of getting some... Like, we're getting the attack bonuses, we're getting the health bonuses. And as much as possible, we're trying to actually eliminate these units before they wind up attacked by Talvis, so that I can have an orc that works beside my shrine. It's like, this is an example. I'm going to die here, take 5 damage because he did the attack, but Talvis shouldn't be showing up in one of these war graveyards anymore, so we're going to just wind up kind of beating the crap out of each other. So we'll end the turn here. So again, 16 damage per attack. I want to be careful about Talvis here, but this is kind of our opportunity to try and get some buffs. Oh, that changes the equation a little bit. An enemy's been defeated, but life still glimmers in their body. Now you are to decide their fate. Let's execute. So that unit's moving up here. I'm just trying to think of different ways that these units will move. I'll move you here. So I was originally going to put down the Orc Warlord, but it actually makes more sense to try and do as much damage as we can. Or sorry, do the healing, but also, yeah. Sorry, I need to earn. I need to earn. I should have thought about the swamp on there, because that obviously didn't help me with the healing. In any case, we'll survive this, but the hope, obviously, is that I'm able to get some healing on my my shrine before... Or no, we won't, because my attack's going to happen first. So we just got by with the skin of our teeth, but a win's a win. So we can get a Grove Keeper on attack, triggers each turn effects of all adjacent tiles and units. Ooh, that's actually quite tempting. I think I'm going to take the Spark of Fire, though. Act completed. Consequences. So we have Tyrannical Reign. You have eliminated most of the humans and elves inhabiting these lands. Those who remain will live under your heel, barely surviving in the ruins you left in your wake. All of mortal kind, even those you count as allies, are fated to die slow, lonely deaths under your rule. So all enemies receive 3 damage each turn, and when you summon an ally next to the shrine, they will attack it. Eternal Hunt. The Elvish Woods are left in ruins after your crusade, except for the sacred trees from which you consume priceless ether and gift to the dimensional merchant, heedless of the insult to the surviving elves. Incensed at the desecration of the trees, the elves will stop at nothing to take their revenge against you. The dimensional merchant gives you a 40% discount on all goods. Each enemy wave includes an elvish warrior. And finally, Wise Ruler. Despite your disdain for mortal kind, you acknowledge the few among them who are clever and useful. You travel forth and gather the wisest mortals from across the burnt continents to form your personal council, who will offer you guidance in exchange for their safety and a modest fee. So we can gain a random scroll at the start of each battle, and unused scrolls disappear after each battle. This actually works well for me, because I tend to ignore the scrolls anyway. Enemies gain extra effects that might hinder your plans. Adjust your strategy before the battle to be well prepared. So enemies can receive only up to 9 damage from a single attack. That definitely puts a damper on my strategy with the magma shrine. But that's fine. And Meteor Shower destroys most tiles on the continent. That's going to be fun. Okay. I think we'll go to the Sanctuary. So Magma Heart can go +4. Oh yeah, actually, so if I recall, the desert is actually quite open. Now, what can we buy? Corrupted Tree steals 1 attack when attacked. Overgrown Ruins adds 1 health to an ally on this tile. Well of Souls resurrects any units that die here with 1 health. Haunted Village +1/+1 to allies summoned here on this or adjacent hexes. A Beast, when this unit receives damage, adds the same amount of attack to them. And a Plant Warrior applies poison to the target. They're all tempting. I think I'm actually going to buy these shards. I don't know about this one. Okay, so we've got a Demonologist creates broken seals which can teleport to the shrine. Archaeologist destroys all ancient tiles. Man, there's not going to be any territory left by the end of this. Mechanical Golem creates chain lightning which electrocutes multiple enemies. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one. Oh no, when they say destroys tiles, it means it's open plains. Oh, this is heaven. Okay, Frenzy, any unit attacks all adjacent units, that's fine. One here. I think I'm actually just going to leave it at that. I do sort of want an Elementalist at some point. Again, this is all about trying to boost the healing while I can. Okay, so it's going to seem a little weird, but I'm actually okay having the shrine go into an area that it's stunned. So I'm going to put a cleric down here. So the idea here is that this guy's going to get healed all around before... So this does obviously interrupt the path where we're walking across empty tiles, but it seems to me like it's better for me to... seems to me like it's better to have the extra healing first and then move on. So I'm gonna put cleric here, and then we'll probably save up the... Oh, okay. I guess we don't get stunned then. I would have done things a little differently, but that's fine. So I think I'm at the point here where I want to start saving up some mana for the upcoming fight. Now, the thing to remember is that one difficulty is I'm going to need an extended fight with these units. So what's a good way to do this? I was going to put down the orc, but this will be good because of all the adjacent plane tiles. So a lot of my healing is going to be coming from doing the attack, but again, because I can only do 9 damage per turn, there's going to be a lot of damage that's coming on me from these 2 units. So I kind of need to prepare for that, but I'll be honest, I don't... Oh, that's right! It's unexpected, but that actually is not terrible for me. So I gotta end the turn here. I'm gonna have to put down an Orc Warlord reasonably soon. So actually, no, this is really bad for me because we've got this extended fight with people who can't do a lot of attacks. But the Orc Warlord will hopefully be the way that I navigate that. No, even then the Orc Warlord's not gonna, because this got filled up. I'm in some serious trouble. So the one other alternative I have... No. I'm going to Orc Warlord it. We'll get the 2 for the battle right, and then hopefully he'll be charging up this... Oh, alright then. Saved. Algrins, thank you very much for the resubscription. I'm gonna wait it out here. I'd like to get another orc in on the action. Okay, this looks good. So my shrine's going to move here. So if I put the orc down here, I get the bonus for them attacking. Oh, the subscriber alert? Thanks. I've always questioned whether or not it's a good idea, but I'm glad you like it. Okay, an enemy's been defeated, but life still glimmers in their body. Now you decide their fate. Let's do... Berry. This will be most helpful. And this time we're going to do the battle right on the Orc Warlord. So it's going to get a little silly with the bonus. Oh, nuts! Okay. Let's say these two get switched. And the reasoning here is that the Orc Warlord's going to be able to help buff. Okay, an enemy's been defeated, but life still glimmers in their body. Now you are to decide their fate. We can summon a cursed spirit. Ooh. That's really good. So we're gonna blunt the effect of archaeologists here. So basically here, the orc's gonna be hitting the orc's gonna be like the maximum damage we can do is 9, but we're gonna be adding 14 to the shrine every time we do an attack, and I believe the shrine should still be getting the health bonus for its preposterously large attack. Ah, damn it. So I'm still going to do the orc thing. This would be best. So we gotta wait a turn for the battle, right? No! We're losing too much health. I also don't understand why my cursed spirits aren't... Oh, it's on death. God, I gotta read these things better. Do our best with the Orc Warlord, because again, helping heal my unit's still the right call here. Yes, we will pay tribute. I did that for the ether, incidentally. Oh god, this golem's gonna be a problem. I feel like I gotta do perfect balance for... And in fact, in this case, we'll use the ether. And... I can burn them on a funeral... Yeah, actually, burn on a funeral pyre will make sense, because it's going to take so many turns to get these guys boosted. Next up, so let's just make sure that the... Yeah, so the placement makes sense. That might even make him a little survivable on the electricity. There we go. The Elementalist may be a good choice, though. Because we're going to be taking 10 damage a turn with this thing. So let's give this a... well... doesn't make that much sense. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my Elementalist here. It's going to teleport my... or, sorry, when they move, it's going to teleport the shrine, and then I can get the healing by traversing the plain sights. How you doing, Tikri? Okay, so we gotta just sit around and wait for a little bit while I heal my units. Oh, well, so much for that. So long, suckers! Okay, so now the question is, where is everybody moving? So I'll put an Elementalist down here. We'll wait, because again, I'm mostly going for healing at this point. know this thing's... Oop. We know this thing falls next turn. I suppose really the question here is how do I maximize the healing for the shrine for the rest of this? We've done quite well for ourselves healing-wise. So we get 3 more turns of this. So next unit needs to be a cleric because this will be over next turn. Actually, even with the cleric, yeah. But still, we're well above where we were health-wise, so that worked out. I don't know if we had any scrolls, or did I forget to use them? Okay, I could do Invigorating Flame, destroy a tile and add +2 health to a unit on it. Not terrible, but we can do better. I think we'll just take another Spark of Flame. So I believe that is the first time I've beaten that level. Okay, Earthquake. The continent is shattered in half. Thorns. Enemies deal 4 damage back when attacked. Good lord. Okay, so we've got a Demonologist. These guys were quite tough. Archaeologist and a Mechanical Golem. Okay, so same enemies as we had last time. I could get... Man, those passive perks have been pretty strong. On the other hand, I do have these Sparks of Creation, so... But what did they really do for me? Am I missing something about how the... Like, I know it says usable by a unit. Oh, do I have to, like, drag it on? Okay, so... It would seem to me that the orc is... Ah, yep, that's exactly how that works. Okay, so, I mean, I gotta admit, the passive bonuses are really, really strong, so turning up 2 of them is kind of tough. I think I'm gonna, I think I'm actually going to focus on... Yeah, man. Magma Heart. Okay, Warm Flames I have to do. Yeah, 36% of my attack. Adds +3 attack whenever an enemy enters an adjacent hex. Tempting, but I think I'm just going to go for Warm Flames. So again, maximize the number of planes. Guess I kind of need to do that here. Honestly, I feel at this point it's got to be battle right. This doesn't give me as much. So I think in this case I can afford to wait a turn. Shame on you. So this will give me 2 for the battle right, and I feel I kind of need to do that here. So we're going to see why I don't really care about the Thorns damage. Now we put down our Orc Warlord. So that's 12 damage. I heal everything it does to me every turn, and I'm only going to get stronger. Okay, an enemy has been defeated, but life still glimmers in their body. Now you are to decide their fate. So we're going to bury them. I want to create as many empty hexes as I can for the battle right. So my character's going to move here, which means we put our orc here. That's 14 health now, by the way. So the chain lightning is going to be the problem here with the golem. Create a cursed catacomb. And an enemy has been defeated, but life still glimmers in their body. Now you are to decide their fate. Add +1 attack to an ally if they attack an enemy immediately if possible. So given that, like, this unit's dead anyway, so we'll do that so I can get the 4. And then this is just extra health for my guy. So they're going to move in here, which means the orc goes here. I suspect they're going to die to the lightning this turn. Yeah. So it'd be nice if there was another way of handling this, but honestly, at this point, I just want to buff my shrine with every opportunity. Damn it! That was useless. An enemy's been defeated, but life still glimmers in their body. Now you're to decide their fate. We'll go for the morale boost. So I do believe I'm actually... I might only be breaking even here. I still think it makes sense for me to bring the orc in. That's... Nope, that's still gonna help. No! Oh, this is so dumb. I get 30% of a 141 attack. Oh, nuts! So I don't get that extra attack from the orc. Ah, that really sucks. Well, let's face it, this guy's not going to last another turn, so let's get the extra health while we can. Oh yeah, I didn't even check what scrolls I had. I really need to get on that. Okay, so we can get Light of Hope, adds +5 health to an ally and all of their adjacent allies, or we can go for the Grove Keeper again. I think we'll do Light of Hope. And if you'll just excuse me a second, I want to check something here. Alright, so we'll see what we're up against for the boss. Actually, you know what? I think I've gone up against these bosses before. I seem to remember they also clobbered me. Okay, so I think. So again, like two passives is super helpful, but I really think I need to start spending these. So we're gonna go to the chamber first. So we've got upon an ally's death, all adjacent allies will gain 3 health, or Giant's Might adds +1/+4 to an ally with the lowest health every 4 turns. Seems to me that Fading Life is the one that I want. Yeah. Enemies with 3 or less attack are corrupted. So tiles abilities trigger twice when corrupted units are standing on them. Or Kiss of Death upon an ally's death, a random enemy will receive 3 damage. That's probably the one that I want. Summons an Orc Berserker on battle start or grants dual wield to every 3rd summoned ally. That's going to be great. If I do that on an Orc. So it seems to me here I've got a lot of money. Sorry, I shouldn't call it money, but... So let's max out my abilities. So, Inexplicable Fear, when you don't spend mana on your turn, all enemies will lose 1 attack. And Coven, every 4th unit that dies is turned into a Generous Vampire. Adds +1 attack to all adjacent ally. That's good, but that assumes a really extended combat. But then again... This is a really tough call, actually. Because I really do tend to spend... I really do tend to spend my mana every turn. I think I'm going to go for the Generous Vampire. Okay, so we've got Winds of Change replaces some tiles with random ones from another act, and oh god, heavy armor, so that is going to be it's going to be an extended fight, so... Elementals deal direct damage to enemies and buff each other. Yeah. So, Magma Heart for +6/+6 to the shrine whenever it enters a plane hex. Yeah. So in this case here, I gotta hope for wide open fields. Sons of the Elements, the first beings. Oh, Jesus. All right. I'm going to start with some health. So I also should have taken a look at these abilities, because these are gonna get weird. Oh, that's right, it summons me. No! This is all wrong. Okay, so abilities. This unit can receive only up to 9 damage from a single attack. On move, adds +3/+3 to all adjacent allies. This one, passive other bosses' abilities work twice while they are adjacent to the unit. Can only receive up to 9. So is it the case all of these are only up to 9? Okay, so the way I'm going to handle this, I'm going to bring in the Orc Warlord first. It's going to take us a long time to get the... It's going to take us a long time to get the health up, but this will be worth it. This guy gets the dual wield. And in fact, I'm going to put him here, because then he's going to be buffing his orc buddy. Oh, nuts. Oh yeah, no, this is the one. So we should start seeing some absolute nonsense in a little bit. So these villages are going to be a problem, but I'm going to stick with the plan. Look at this. This guy's not going to last very long, but that's fine. I'm totally okay with people getting bonuses. I mean, technically it doesn't matter, right? Because they'll only take up to 9. But it is absolutely ridiculous that I've got multiple units that do over 100 damage. And the big thing is, like, I'm getting a percentage of this attack, right? So I want this guy running around doing as much damage as possible. Okay. Of course we're doing morale boost on my main unit. So what I probably want to start doing now is capturing these tiles so that I can get boosts for my own people. Unless I have to move into... Yeah, it looks like I have to move in to get it. Still, 86 health every time I... The fact that they actually take a limited amount of damage is... like, really, really helping me out here. Okay, so I gotta keep in mind that it's the dual wielding... It's like the double damage orc that's coming up next. So... I'm going to skip this turn. A simple little 141 health for each. And remember, that's a double attack. 871 attack on my, on my main character. So yeah, so I guess I can't really put an orc on here, but what would make sense would be I gotta be trying to heal this guy, but then there's the double attack. Ugh, okay, that doesn't... I think I've screwed this up, actually. So, like, the gravy train of preposterous attacks is coming to an end. But that's fine, because we got away with some absolute nonsense. Oh yeah, we got 2 scrolls as well. So we could destroy 2 tiles, and of course we're going to add health. Oh man, this might actually save the orc. Yeah, there's really nothing for us to do. We'll just destroy their villages. What the hell is that? Oh, generous vampire. Why not? Transfer soul. So I'm a 2/2 copy of an ally on an adjacent hex. Okay, a 2/2 version of an adjacent ally. But, what do I want to do? So if I brought them in... I don't want them to wind up on one of those shrine... what about... Holy crap, so that counts as extra health, having a second shrine. Do they move into this... Oh man, that is a shame that they're not moving into that tile. But, like, this is more how... Oh, God! Holy crap! Okay, so if I were to duplicate this unit and fill it... Okay, so I now have 2 units that can potentially get health out of all of this. Anyways, with my over 1,000 attack that I get 30% on, I want this fight to last as long as possible. 400 health every attack. Nope, please nobody tell Brace yourself about this. I want this to stay in the game forever. Okay, so the orc's going to go into a position where it winds up buffing my guy, which means that we want another orc here. Remember, this is the dual wield guy, so that's another 247 each time. Okay, so if this guy gets in on the fight, he's gonna wind up getting preposterous amounts of health too. How do I kill this unit? Okay, it's over. There's no way this is working. But could you imagine... Oh my... Oh man, could you imagine if this thing, if I had a second one of those with preposterous amounts of health, attacking enemy units that could only take 9 damage, that I would be doubling the thing that wound up giving me 1,600. Oh my god, that was so much fun. Okay, so Corrupted Tree, passive, steals one attack when attacked. Ghoul swaps attack with the target. If the unit's attack becomes 0, it will turn into an Enraged Ghoul. An Enraged Ghoul is 2020. Cool. I actually kind of like the idea of the Corrupted Tree. I'm probably not going to put it in the stack, to be honest, but... Act completed. Okay, Extinction. The Sun Domain's inhabitants fled these lands as your forces overtook it and have remained hidden in hopes of returning home one day. But they will not. Despite the approval of your powerful allies, you spread a plague over these lands to bring death to anyone who dares to settle here again. Applies 2 poison to all enemies each turn. You cannot see the merchant's goods nor view talents in the chamber. I can't remember what talents are. Unexpected allies. The Pharaoh's tyranny has come to an end and a new ruler has arisen. You have no intention of being yet another tyrant, but the ordinary folk fear your rage towards humankind and they form a resistance in a brazen attempt to destroy the shrine. Nonetheless, you spare the rebels, which earns you trust, and new blood joining your ranks creates a copy of any unit summoned next to the shrine. And the shrine receives +7 damage from attacks. Okay, so as preposterous as my health is, yeah, I'm pretty sure I have all the talents. Just the thing is, because they're like because they are specialized terms, it's just one of these things. It's like if I'm reading a math text or something like that. Like, actually, maybe it's not. So for those of you who have struggled with math, I feel you. I did too, and still do. And one of the biggest things that I've learned, and honestly, it's an ongoing process, but one of the things that's helped me the most to try and get through text like that is to try and get rid of the magical thinking. So let me... I happen to know this one's in the public domain now, right? So... Okay, a convenient property is that the trace of a product of 2 not necessarily square matrices, A and B, is unaffected by the order in which the 2 matrices are multiplied together. If the dimensions of A are n times n, then, in order for the product AB to be squared, those of B must be m by n. This implies further that the product BA exists and is mm. We have trace of AB is equal to the sum from I equals 1 to n, ABII equals sum of I 1 to n, sum of j 1 to m, AIJ BJI equals sum of j 1 to m, BAJJ equals trace of BA. Clear, right? Now the thing is, I've just read, nobody reads math texts in audiobook form, but like, it's absolutely natural to like look at an equation like that, say, looks good to me, and move on. And that is how you... Yeah, hey, Dendrian. Actually, Dendrian is the one who almost certainly would understand that. So this is a lovely opportunity for me to shout out. I've been watching Dendrian play more Graveyard Keeper recently, but I found Dendrian through Hooded Horse's wonderful... Sorry, it's Ermite Games that makes it, but Hooded Horse publishes Against the Storm. And he's sworn to secrecy as to his employers, so naturally he works for the Federal Reserve of St. Louis, but nobody tell him. In any case, Dendrian, I strongly recommend, particularly for those of you like watching me just as kind of background noise. I'll just come up with a new employer every time every time you come by. It's actually the worst incentive I can give for you to come by my channel. But I will actually strongly recommend Dendrian. This does not do justice to how enjoyable it is to sort of hang out and be more active in Dendrian's channel, but I can definitely say that one of the things that Dendrian's built in terms of the channel is something that people should feel able to kind of come in and relax and basically have something on. It's actually, because I now know that they've started like streaming fairly recently, it's one of the qualities that I think is tremendously unappreciated by new broadcasters. It's actually why not having a large channel is not necessarily a bad thing at the start. I mean, we've been doing it as long as I have, and you have the numbers I do, then you feel really bad about it. Like, but one of the things that's kind of nice is it's an opportunity for you to sort of find your voice. And like, everybody kind of you can watch a broadcast and you can sort of say, oh yeah, I could do that. If only I had an audience, I'd be so entertaining. And usually the answer is no, not really. It's actually quite difficult to keep things going and to be able to sort of talk, and particularly to talk when people are not interacting. It's something that can often look easy, and some people just have a natural talent for it, right? Like, obviously I don't shut up. I wouldn't call that a talent, but anyways, you get the idea. So it's one thing I actually really respect about Dendrian's channel, which is just assuming it's as early as I thought it was. It's definitely one that demonstrates that ability to kind of hold an empty room. Like, I don't mean to imply that you're going to go there and it's a ghost town. But it does have like, Dendrian's channel has one of these important qualities where I could imagine a stream with literally 0 people in there the entire time, and there still being that level of interaction and that level of commentary. And again, that's something that I have a tremendous amount of respect for, because I know how difficult it is, and I know how underappreciated it is. But I think more importantly too, Dendrian just has good stuff to say. And so I would encourage you not just to come there for passive enjoyment, but an opportunity to engage with, an interesting content creator and somebody who you'll either find a new interesting game from. I'm certainly more interested in Graveyard Keeper, having watched a Dendrian stream, than not. But I'm quite impressed at how bad I am at Against the Storm after watching his streams. But no, I more importantly, like this, it's nice to just be able to, hang out with people of substance. And if you feel like having an in-depth conversation, you can. And if you just want to hang out, that's totally fine too. And just a reminder, actually, I feel not obligated, but I would like to just draw people's attention to Godless again. Again, it's maybe not bad time for me to remember or to reiterate that this is a game that I was given a key for from Brace Yourself, which is the publisher of this game. And it is developed by Daniel Kalupa. And one of the reasons I want to highlight that is that this game came into early access in November of last year. It's going to be, they don't have a firm release date for the early access yet. I think they're probably taking some time and figuring out where they want to be with the game. But I would just say, like, when I take a look at the total number of user reviews, they're very, very positive ones. I think it's 90% positive right now. But I think a lot of people are wishlisting and waiting for release. If so, just remember that they are going to be raising the price when it's released. And again, maybe the amount that it goes up by is not a major amount for you, and so you're willing to hold back on it. But I do feel kind of strongly that this is a game, in addition to the fact that there's obviously the affiliation with Brace Yourself, which is a developer I like quite a bit. This is so far as I can tell, a first game by the developer. I'm sure they've probably done things that I'm just not familiar with, but in this, it's the first one that I could see their name attached to. And it's one that I would really like to see people sort of pick up and embrace. So I don't know, like I definitely feel, and more importantly too, like I don't know how much of an experiment Brace Yourself Publishing is, and I don't know how firmly committed they are to it. I suspect that they are. Like, I don't think you just idly say, maybe we'll get into publishing now. But it is something that I would really like to see some success. And so, I realize that I'm not going to be paying anybody's rent off of my recommendations. But I think there's something interesting going on here, both as a game, but also in terms of connecting developers with the resources they need to make the games as good as they can be. And so in this case here, I'm trying to push out the Steam link a little bit more often. So even if you're on the fence, it's an opportunity to pick up or to add the wish list, and that just let you know in terms of how the game is developing and maybe whether or not it's for you. Okay, Ancient Legacy. Not everybody in the sands despises the divine. You restore the ancient order of Teldaram, who have been loyal to the High Goddess, your mother, for centuries. Though it took time and energy, the order will now rule on your behalf. Their undying gratitude and vast knowledge are all yours to command. Acquire random talent whenever you craft a gem. Well, I'm going to be crafting quite a few gems, and destroys the last skill slot, including any gems and skills assigned to it. That's not so good, particularly because it is the battle right. So I think I'm actually going to do Extinction. So I'm a little worried about the not being able to see the merchant's goods, but I do like the idea of applying poison to enemies. So the Sun's domain's inhabitants fled these lands as your forces overtook it, and remained hidden in hopes of returning home one day, but they will not. Despite the disapproval from your powerful allies, you'll spread plague over these lands to bring death to anyone who dares settle here again. Act 3, The Land of 1,000 Banners. Wow. Okay, so this is going to get interesting. So, clear sky, no natural disaster will happen on this continent. We've got the Yeti Magician, doubles bonuses to attack and health. So that's going to be 8 every time a unit dies. We've got a Dwarf Warrior, takes extra turns by slaying units. A Cave Imp summons angry imps next to mountains. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is go to the Forge. What about that gem that I put in? Yeah, steals 1 attack from the target. Okay. So, I mean, I could just keep building a whole bunch more of those, but let's work with what I've got already. So, Heart of Volcano attacks an extra time but receives 4 damage. Not quite for me. So, you haven't tried... Yeah, let's try the Crystal Amulet. Adds +1/+4 to this unit on summon. No, we don't want to replace it. Yeah, there's a few things I can do, I think. Okay, so now we acquire new. Well, hang on. Right, this was the Blood Ruby. Okay, so I'm curious. Dragon Skull on death sets attack of any adjacent unit to this unit's attack. Okay. Tempting, but I don't have any high attack units. Okay, corrupts this unit on summon and sets their stats to 2/2. Yeah, it doesn't quite work, does it? This is all discovery at this point. On death, resurrects this unit with 1 attack, 1 health. On enter, creates a copy of this tile on an adjacent hex. Okay, and I don't have enough ether to build anything else, so I might as well build a Heart of the Volcano just because I can. But yeah, the receives 4 damage is a problem. Like, most of these gems just don't really work with where I'm at. Well, no, we can get the +1/+4. So... yeah, it doesn't do anything. I guess there's no way for me to remove the, the gem, though. All good. I don't believe it can. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, no, it doesn't seem to... Like, if I try to drag it into anything associated with the shrine, it's... But that's fine. I mean, again, I'm doing very well. Okay, so we can get Divine Protection Magma Heart, so +8/+8 whenever it enters a plane hex, or Warm Flames, which will give us 48 of the health on attack. In this case, I actually want to go for Magma Heart, because again, the way that this works is I need to crank up my damage first. Yeah, I can live with this. So I'm going to put the shrine in open territory. They may not go... Yeah. So I'm also going to summon an orc. And the hope here is that they conquer a bunch of villages. That's not terrible, but then they're going to go fighting after this guy, so maybe we summon a cleric. Damn it! Now's the time to buff my attack. Wow. I gotta be really careful with those lakes. Okay, pay tribute or soothe before death. I think we do pay tribute, and in this case I'm going to give it to the orc so that it can boost its attack at a better rate. So again, what we want to do here is capture all of these villages. Well, I also want to get my orcs in place, though, so I'm gonna put one down here. Oh, damn it. Okay. Oh no, that's the double one. Okay, that's fine. And then I'm gonna build a cleric here just so I can claim another village. Although I think again I need to move into it. It's not so much the yeah, I screwed that up. I'm gonna wait. Yeah, because we're gonna get a party started with the orcs in a bit. Okay, so we're gonna take this guy out no matter what. So it's actually better for me to put down a cleric that may take a village. This is insane. Well, that's convenient. This is such a perfect balance. Is a very interesting name for this ability. Okay, I don't want to create a loyal village. I want to kill in a duel because this guy can attack an enemy unit. Okay, where's everybody moving? We still have opportunities to capture villages, so I want to do that. I think I'm starting to see the appeal of the auto battler genre here. We always do burn on the funeral pyre so that I can get more damage for my my shrine. I still want to capture these cities, so we're gonna put down a cleric here. I'm hoping that they walk. Oh, I didn't realize they had dual wield. That would have been better to summon an orc, actually. I should have paid attention to that. Bonk. Okay. So I don't want the dwarf attacking this unit. Okay, yeah, so we should capture as many cities as we can. So the aim here is to kind of maximize the number of attacks that my shrine makes because of its ability to grant me health. Oh, alright, well, that was unexpected. Oh, but it removes the attack that it does, so yeah, that's fine. Execute, deal 5 damage to any unit. If they die, you gain... No, we kill in a duel, and we do that on the orc so that we can further increase the damage. So we're going to be capturing villages. There's really nothing else for us to do. So at this point, we buff up our shrines so that we can get a little bit more health when they attack. See, the thing to keep in mind, as much as I'm having fun, like, making these preposterous numbers for my health and all of that, I have to allow that the developers know that this is a possibility and that there's going to be some sort of normalizing ability. Like, I'm assuming that there's, like, that's kind of what the whole, you know, you can do a maximum of 9 damage, sort of like armor buff is about. Of course, the thing for me is that actually helps me health-wise. But there could be something that, you know, affects, you know, does something that's like proportional to my health, for instance. So I'm going to get away with as much as I can, obviously, but I do want to allow for the possibility that there's going to be consequences for my nonsense. Also, I don't think I got the health for that last attack. All right, on to the frozen plateau. So you got the Winds of Change. It replaces some tiles with random ones from another act. And, okay, return damage. Obviously, we're going to go for another Sanctuary and the Forge. So we can do Warm Flames on attack. The shrine deals 48% of its attack. Oh yeah, so we're only doing a third of our attack. I'm still inclined for Magma Heart, because again, like, it's our ability to sort of pump up the attack early is really really what I'm trying to do here with Magma Heart. So now we've got a bunch of Spark. Each turn adds +1/+2 to an ally on this tile. So I'm curious. That still doesn't... Only usable by tiles. Okay. On death, usable by unit, adds 2 health to all adjacent allies. Okay, so we're up against a Dwarf Warrior, takes extra turns by slaying units. Cave Imp summons angry imps next to mountains. 2 Yeti Magicians, doubles bonuses to attack and health. And Dwarf Warrior takes extra turns by slaying units. We said that already. So replaces some tiles with random ones from another act, and then thorns. So that's going to mean the orcs are a little less effective than they would normally be. Okay, so they have some real possibilities of claiming some cities here. I feel like I need to get into the fight pretty early. Now, where are we heading? Okay, sadly, we're not heading to villages. Honestly, I'm trying to think, is there a city that will like guarantee me? So if I go here, they're just going to wind up attacking. I think if I go here, there's a pawn. Well, no, because then, well, hang on. So if the shrine moves here. Okay, so if I put the orc down here, the shrine's going to change the direction that it moves. So yeah, this doesn't accomplish the thing I was looking to do. All right, at least I get the health bonus. Plus the extra attack. And then I'm going to put down a cleric here. And hopefully they take a city. Of course they don't take a city. They go to the catacomb. Alright, well. Can't have it all. Still, 19 is a nice place to start. So unless I find a way to get these, for the orcs to get healed, I'm just going to have to face lots of death. Still, 22 damage already is a good place to start, so. I'm just going to let nature take its course at this point. We can sort of afford to lose some damage. Actually... no, we want to do that on the... orc. So yeah, actually... No, because then they're going to go after the troll... God, this is so difficult. Let's try here. So they're probably going to walk... down. Oh yeah, they're not going to do anything useful. No, okay, good. Okay, so they wind up in the catacombs. Not great, but not abominable either. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what poison does here, because it doesn't seem to be or maybe it is damaging every turn. They just have so much health I'm not paying attention. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Yeah, there's really no good option here with the Orc Warlord, to be completely honest. Maybe what I do is I add the... Well, even then, the Elemental... The Elementalist winds up perishing too. So, you know what, honestly... Let's just get selfish. So as long as we can deny enemy units... villages, I think I'm going to be reasonably happy. Teleportation, relocate a unit. Energy exchange, swamp 2 units. Last order, eliminate any unit and deal damage equal to their health to all opposing units.
Pay tribute.
I think we just keep putting it in the... It's not... I'm not gonna lie, it's not great. It's just because of the thorns. I can't really make that much progress on my units. Okay. So there's some interesting possibilities here. This guy's going to wind up in the catacombs. We don't know what side he's going to fall out of, though. What I'm going to do... Oh, wait, we can't summon an orc. An orc is going to have weapon mastery. Okay, fair enough. An enemy's been defeated, but life still glimmers in their body. Now you are to decide their fate. Oh. We'll execute then. Okay, so I'm going to put an orc down here. Again, the assumption is that they're going to claim a northern city. So the buffs are the sort of thing that help me, you know, get away with the preposterous health bonuses. So with that in mind, let's also summon a cleric, but I gotta be careful where I put them. Going to make life interesting. Here we go. Perfect balance. I really should just pay for that with health at this point, but... And we can summon a cursed spirit or soothe before death. Now we'll distribute the health. And at this point, we can just phone it in. So I should probably be paying attention to exactly what it is that's giving these units like 116 health. But fortunately, you know, I do more, so. Soothe before death, because it's just going to be one punch. So I don't think the orcs contributed anything to the attack here, but that's fine. Like, it's a logical thing to do is boost my attack. Oh yeah, I didn't use my scrolls again. Okay. Orc Shaman. All adjacent allies attack enemies immediately if possible. Sacred Grove adds +1/+1 to unit on this tile and triggers each turn effects. So I'm actually slightly tempted to... I'm going to put Sacred Grove here. And then we put Battle right where the Elementalist goes. Actually, no, not even the Element. We've used the Elementalist before. I'm going to put it where the Death Knight goes because we've never... Or Bloodlord goes because we've never used those. A little bit. We're still... I can't remember what the default... Actually, here. Let's find out. So the default integer for Unity is 32-bit, meaning the maximum value is 2,147,483,647. So until I get to that number, I'm unhappy. Unless, of course, they've used an unsigned integer, in which case the highest possible is 4 billion something. I think we go to the Sanctuary. So in this case, I'm going to do Warm Flames and Magma Heart. One of each. Okay. Ecumena. Settlements span nearly the entire continent, extending into each other to form one enormous city. Clear sky, no natural disaster will happen on this continent, and Judgment, enemies' attacks deal +8 damage to units with higher health. Torblan, the Monument of Heroes. Okay, summons random enemy from any act every 2 turns, deals 5 damage to any unit summoned on northern cities. Okay, so we have to break down the walls. And then we claim this. Oh man, this is a neat idea. Okay, so the big thing for me is I need to make sure that I maximize the number of time that I'm passing, that I'm like walking on, empty tiles. And if I do it this way, presumably I'm gonna walk like this. So we won't recreate the continent. I'm gonna place the shrine here. This is actually a great opportunity for my orc when it comes down to it. So I'm not going to start... Well, I should start with something. Okay, so I'm going to summon a cleric. Because if I don't summon anything, then I'm just going to waste the mana. Of course I didn't get this. I never even thought of what a siege would look like in this. This is actually really neat. Now the one drawback here is that I gotta be careful in terms of my timing with the orc. Aw, oh, come on, man. Okay, so he's gonna move here. So if that's true... I can move my orc. I mean, it's not great, but it's a start. Big thing is we don't get any of these cities. I kind of wonder why the shrine didn't go for the northern city and instead went to a tile where the ground could break. So now the shrine's going to move up here rather than kind of where I wanted them to. Let's do mutually reinforcing orcs, hoping that they're gonna... Hopefully they're gonna do some magic. So even though they're not necessarily boosting the shrine yet, the idea is that they're going to be reinforcing each other as they move through, and hopefully everybody sort of reunites. I'm thinking that maybe some of these passive powers might be a little overpowered. Now, technically, we could do Exile because, like, I don't think there is another continent, but we will do Kill and Duel. Yeah, we've certainly come a long way from the start. Oh, this is going to get interesting. I wonder, do we walk away from the... Yeah, we do. I mean, I don't hate it. I am going to buff myself with the hexes. It's not the greatest, but like it'll do the trick. We're going to break on Torblan. But I'm just going to let the orcs do their thing for a little while. Especially if we can take the villages, we're going to be in. We're going to be getting some more bonuses. Okay, so sadly all of this bonus is going to go away unless I can find a way to heal this guy. Alright, I'll live with that. So the good news is that he's still going to pass on his attack to his ally here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to summon this orc. Oh, I forgot about that. That's so dumb because I could have actually moved him up. Oh, that sucks. He didn't move in time too, so we lost all of that. Okay, well, we're still gonna win. Just, I misplayed that in many terrible ways. Still, 82 damage. I don't think we have a lot to complain about. Now I'm gonna walk in and punch him. So this guy's not going to get a chance to retaliate. So I'm just going to stay put. We may still be able to get the... No, we're not, because it's going to take my shrine too long to get there. We'll bury... Guess it doesn't really matter what we bury. So this, I want the attack because this heals up my my unit. Now this guy attacks first, so he's actually going to enhance the beast. We may actually be able to pull this off now. Yeah. Didn't even need to use the shrine to take it out. Also, sorry, Mecha Paladin, if I didn't say that. Welcome back. All right, 9 continents destroyed, 107 units created, 480 gems crafted, 6 talents learned, 2 scrolls used. I didn't even look at my scrolls on that last one too. 5 divine speed, 70 ethereal vault, and a bonus of 135%. So that's the first time we've beaten Godless, and probably the last time, if I'm completely honest. So, Act 2 finished, stored energy, the boon is inactive, get 1 free attempt to recreate a continent, visual customization, choose your marker's appearance on the planet, divine boss has been defeated with more than 100 health left. Oh, this is a really good one. Okay, adds +1 extra mana on the first battle. That seems really good. Enlightenment, choose a scroll at the start of each run. A lot of these are really good. +2 attack on the shrine at battle start. Bonus to shrine health after defeating bosses. Okay, so we definitely want to boost our skill mastery. But I'm definitely going to go for divine inspiration, even though it's very costly. Oh, and Ascension. The boon is inactive. Upgrade it to seize its benefits. Your decisions throughout the match define. That's right. There's stuff that unlocks as a result of this. So I think I am actually going to do Ascension instead, even though that closes me off of divine inspiration. So let's start with Supremacy and see how far we can take it. I am a vengeful god. Cool. What did you guys think of that? I don't think I have time to do another run, but like clearly that was broken as hell. But God, that was really entertaining to try and figure out how to steamroll the like, I guess this is all tied to the magma shrine, because I'm assuming you don't get those bonuses as the stable shrine. It seemed like a fun game, like the kind that makes you feel powerful. Yeah, no, definitely. Like, I would be very surprised if it stays that way in the final version. Because the thing to remember, this is still in early access. But like, yeah, like, just, you know, this is also, I think, some of the fun. Like here's the thing. Like I said, I've not quite been able to make I haven't been able to make a lot of sense in terms of like what. Okay, like, sorry, I gotta be careful because I like this game quite a bit. And I was fully expecting this game to beat me up. So, like, it's not because I won a whole lot that makes me say I like this. Like, I actually kind of like its difficulty. So I'm going to give you some context in terms of why I'm so pleasantly surprised by Godless. When I play an auto battler, it's not that I don't see things that I could like in it. As Aegis Zounder says, it reminds him of Magic the Gathering. And certainly in auto battlers, there's sort of that deck building element. Like you want to try and build this team that'll take you through to the end. As a strategy fan, it does feel a little weird that I don't get to command my units, but that's the point, right? And there's other strategy games I really like where you're not able to go to the battle and direct things. So that's not necessarily why I couldn't get into the auto battler. I think the biggest thing for me is it's a little bit like why people struggle to get into certain MOBAs. You like look at all of the stuff that you need to learn, like to feel like you have a chance in the game, and you're just like, no, I'm not reading all that. Like, I don't want to have to sit down and do like a month's worth of homework to comprehend why I'm getting completely dominated by these other players, and then, spend a couple years trying to get good. And I'm probably thinking about auto battlers in the wrong way, but it's just like I really don't feel like I've been able to find a game that has given me a reason to put in the effort to appreciate it. And yet, clearly, auto battlers have a lot of the elements that make me really enjoy Godless. And I think the reason why Godless really hits it out of the park, and again, like, just to be clear, I should not be able to do what I did in this game. So like there's clearly work to be done. But what I think is really cool about this is that the roguelike element like gives me this restriction in terms of figuring out how the game works. Because clearly there were a lot of cases where I'm like, I'm not quite sure why that happened, or oh yeah, I forgot to do this thing here. Like there's a lot of places where I'm still screwing up, but I'm unlocking little bits over periods of time. So it's like, it's fun to play at the start. It's like, okay, I've got, my little unit that moves here and my little unit that moves here. I'm going to try and build a strategy around this thing. And, at the very start of the run, I'm like, okay, we should maybe bring along the Orc Warlord because that's going to help me out in terms of, trying to build some momentum. And then, when it came time to like realize that I've got so much, health or so much attack, and I've got an opportunity to like make the two equal on my unit, at this point here, that's just opened up a world of possibilities for me. And so we were able to take that initial sort of germ of an idea and turn it into this just amazing run where, we could seemingly like, it felt like there was no way we could lose at that point. Even though at every point I needed to earn back my attack, right? It's not like I automatically started off as this juggernaut. Could use better pathfinding, you think, at least to maximize the benefit from the cleric's moves when capturing a city. So it has had some improvements to the AI. I guess the thing is, I'm not quite sure what the conventions of an auto battler sort of dictate in terms of pathfinding. Because to a certain extent, like, I put it to you this way, like, I don't know what my expectations should be going in to a game that is sort of defined by, my inability to micromanage the units. Like, it would seem to me that if you're playing an auto battler, the unit deciding to, the unit having some autonomy in terms of its own decision making is part of the genre. So I can sort of get that I wouldn't want to direct it. And with that in mind, if a unit is making a particular choice, this is what I signed up for. And so I'm sort of curious if I would really have any kind of a grounds for a complaint on that line. There's a side of me, from a strategic point of view, given that I do get to control where units go, it would be nice if I had a little more predictability in terms of where they might go. Because there were a couple cases where I was like, yeah, well, why would a unit voluntarily stand on a on a tile that will potentially break underneath them, right? That doesn't make sense. Clearly, they'll go towards the village instead, which gives me an advantage. Now, I guess maybe what happened there, if I'm thinking about it, that village in each circumstance might have been further away from an enemy, and that's why the unit moved that way. But yeah, like, this is the thing. Like, is this maybe something I'm supposed to be learning by playing the game a few times over, and I get a sense in terms of how units are going to move? Or do I want to try and develop a strategy that is robust to my individual unit's abilities? Like, to a certain extent, this is something that people need to care about in terms of warfare. I think it was in Foreign Affairs, but regarding the current conflict in Ukraine, the Russian invasion. There has been some discussion in terms of the different styles of combat and this idea of I think they're just, again, it's been a while since I've read this article, and there are people who are clearly greater experts on this subject, so please don't take that as don't take this as gospel, but I think the idea had been that the Russian command structure is such that basically you don't give a lot of autonomy to the lower levels. It's sort of the dictates come from on high. The people are sort of expected to do the thing, and this is quite brittle to certain types of warfare, because in the end, you don't have that kind of dexterity to deal with everything's sort of top heavy. But in the end, if you don't trust sort of your middle and lower ranks to be able to implement your plans, that's kind of the only option you have, and you build around that, right? If you don't feel that the people who are going to be sort of on the ground implementing the plan are up to the task, then you create this fairly rigid structure. And then, of course, the contrast was to the Ukrainian forces, which have obviously received training from the UK, the US, Canada. And with that in mind, there's quite a bit more decision making that sort of devolved down to that lower level. You're sort of trusting you're trusting some of these units to have some flexibility in terms of how they carry out their operations. And obviously that would line up with a lot of what you're hearing in that particular conflict, right? Of people, being able to set up these traps, or otherwise being able to destabilize what would seem on paper to be a stronger force. But ultimately they're just not able to, they're not necessarily able to make the sort of breakthrough that they want. So again, like, obviously that's a really serious analogy for a game which is a little bit, I mean, this game is kind of about the end of the world, so it's not exactly lighthearted, but like, that's why I think I should actually find these types of games more interesting than I traditionally have. Because again, it's the difference. It's almost like if I was playing something like Crusader Kings, right? Like, yeah, my character can roleplay as being a commander, but in the end, like, in fact, particularly in Crusader Kings, it was like, if I had a larger number than the enemy, most of the time that would be a victory. In Europa Universalis, there's maybe a little bit more going on there. But in the end, the combat's out of my hands. And so there's a lot of these types of games where I've not been able to individually direct the soldiers. And so in that sense, that can't be the deal breaker for the auto battler. But I will be honest with you, Godless is the only one that has really been able to hold my attention. And it gives me a lot to think about, especially in terms of how I react to how the allied units move on the battlefield. Because again, one that's talking about expectations for me as a player and somebody who wants to get into these kinds of games. But also sort of what the conventions of a genre are. Because of course then that's the point where somebody says, how do you make an auto battler that still has, the auto in it, right? While still allowing people to express some preferences in terms of approaches. So, right, you could think of a command system where you sort of say, here are, one of 3 approaches you can consider. And it's almost like this rock, paper, scissors game that you play with your opponent in terms of, push forward versus sort of turtle or whatever. But on the other hand, some of that's already supported in an auto battler by the different ways that you'll upgrade your individual units and the different things you'll go through. So perhaps you're adding another layer of complexity that's unnecessary to that. And again, I'm not a game designer, so every time I sit and think about something like that, there's 10 better options that people who are experienced can think of that I didn't even realize that I needed. But in any case, this is all good stuff. I'm really, really excited. This is definitely, after playing Godless, this is probably the most excited for seeing what's next. And I think probably maybe one of the drawbacks from before was because I really sort of ran out of steam in Act 2. Like, it just felt like such an insurmountable task. It was sort of, Godless was always one of these, oh yeah, I can get back to this. They'll probably add some new stuff and I'll be able to check it out. But because I hadn't already experienced everything that was in the game, because, again, I I sucked at it. I still do, just I got lucky in terms of a strategy. Ooh, wow. Just got like a million LinkedIn alerts for some reason. But yeah, I'm actually really excited to see what's next for this game because I've now seen the end, right? And it's such an interesting difference in terms of the reaction. I always liked Godless, but now I'm like really eager for them to implement Act 4. Because now I know, now I know there's a siege, and now I know, there's totally different challenges in the new maps and so on and so forth. And, the fact that if you pick a different shrine, it unlocks completely different play experiences. It's all good stuff. Anyways, I'm obviously gushing about the game, and I think it's appropriate to. Hopefully this has given you, at least enough interest to, consider wishlisting it. If not, I hope at least I provided some diversion for tonight. Alexa liked the tweet. I wonder if Alexa got to see me do the nonsense. But yeah, I want to say one. Okay, so I'm going to do my best. I do not want to make a promise here. But I did say that I wanted to try and do Book of Hours before Friday, and there's obviously only one more day in the week. So I'm going to do my best to do another stream tomorrow with Book of Hours. And if I can, roughly around the time that I normally would. Now, again, life has not gotten any easier for me. Life has not gotten any less busy. I've actually been having quite a bit of difficulty with sleep and all of that. But I would very much like to get on Book of Hours, especially because I've had some nice exchanges just with the bug reports and that, and it seems like there's a lot that's changed in the patch with the some of the stuff that was keeping me from moving forward. So for those of you looking forward to Book of Hours, and just keep in mind for those of you who are watching on YouTube, this will have already happened in history because I just can't upload the videos that fast. There's a 24-hour restriction that Twitch asks for in terms of access to my videos. So there you have it. But yeah, for those of you looking for an extra stream, I will do my best. Obviously, Twitter's going to be the place where I announce that. And if it doesn't turn out, obviously Friday Book of Hours, and I will do, I will find a way to make it up either on a weekend or find another way to cover it. As for Brace Yourself games, I don't know. I'm really not sure what to do at this point. I don't know if I do some more Godless next week, or if I wait for another patch, or if I kind of wait and then go back and, there's a few different ways that I can handle it. It would feel good to do more. But But yeah, I don't know. Like I know that there was a wish for I know that there was a wish for Phantom Brigade, and I would like to make sure that I want to make sure that I spend, quality time with Phantom Brigade as well. So I'll, again, find a balance between the two, and I'm not 100% sure how I will do that right now, but I need to wrap it up because, again, you're all here for Godless. If I'm not doing any more Godless, I can, at the very least, hand you off to somebody who is hopefully fun to watch. So where are we? We have Drillian is playing Cult of the Lamb. So that's the game that A. Jared J worked on. A. Jared J is now actually full-time at Devolver, so I figure that's not a bad one to support. I found Dendrian through Industries of Titan. I don't think he plays it that much anymore, which is a bit of a shame because I feel like Industries of Titan sort of deserves a bit more attention. But in any case, he's a very nice streamer. There's quite a few good people on, actually, but I will leave you in his capable hands. Thank you for stopping by, Dendrian. And for the rest of you, if you're here for not Phantom Brigade, if you're here for the Brace Yourself stuff, that'll be next week. And if you are here for me, I will see you definitely Friday, hopefully tomorrow. And for those of you just stopping by randomly, I hope you liked it and gave a follow or otherwise have expressed your support. But I hope I get a chance to see you again in the future. Take care.